morning, beautiful people. Welcome to yet another episode of the Younib Breakfast Show with me, Peninah, Wachera. I hope you guys have woken up well and are excited to face your day. Yeah? For me, I'm really, really excited. And also, the conversation we're bringing to you today will be reflective. We will be remembering our past love life, yeah? But stay tuned so that you can be able to know what specifically we are talking about here. As it is the norm here at the Younib Breakfast Show, let's go straight to the morning bite of the day. Teenage relationships are messy, magical, confusing, unforgettable. Whether it's a crush that makes your heart race, a first kiss you never saw coming, or a breakup that felt like the end of the world, this part of growing up hits deep. Behind the romantic gestures and the text messages are real questions. What does a healthy relationship even look like? How do teens handle love, jealousy, peer pressure, or heartbreak in a world dominated by likes, DMs, and situationships? In today's conversation, we are diving deep into the real stories, real struggles, and real lessons behind teenage relationships, the ones that shape who we are and how we love. Whether you are in one, getting over one, or just trying to figure it out, this one's for you. Remember, you can always interact with us through our social media platforms, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719-144-144. And every time we speak about or we have conversations on mental health, you will always know that this show is proudly brought to you by Miss Your Ashen and Younib organization, and we're trying to reach out to the community to teach you on matters mental health. So if you need any mental health assistance, you can always call the number 0700-352-250, and our very own psychologist will be able to help you out. Yeah. Before we dive deep into the conversation of the day, I'd like to introduce to you our therapists who are actually our guests of the day. Yeah. So good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How are you feeling this morning? Tuanze kwako Valentine.
Well, I'm happy to be here. So to talk about the teenage relationships, because most of us started our relationships when we were teenagers.
Yeah,
because it's a stage of curiosity. So it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to actually learn from you guys. Beulah, how is your morning?
So far, it's good. I'm enjoying it so far. Also very excited to see where this conversation leads us today.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming again and for being here so that we can be able to learn from you. Yeah, pick your knowledge when it comes to this conversation of the day. Yeah. So without further ado, let's go straight to the conversation. So we are having a conversation on teenage relationships. Let's know, Kwanza, how does a healthy relationship look like?
Okay, since you have looked at me, so I'm assuming I'm
You're
the
going
one
to
answer
start.
the
Yeah.
question.
Uh-huh.
Well, a healthy relationship is what everybody should strive to have, because it's a relationship that is built on trust. Trust goes hand in hand with honesty. It is also a relationship whereby you as a person are given that priority of being an individual. Like your life doesn't have to revolve only around that particular relationship. So you as a person, you are allowed to make your own decisions without the relationship basically influencing a lot of your decision. Then the other thing, in a healthy relationship, there is openness, there is open communication, there is mutual understanding, and we even have respect, among many other values.
Okay. I like that. Now we've gotten to just understand what a healthy relationship should look like or is all about here. So Beulah, when Valentine was introducing the conversation, she said that most of our our love experiences or relationship experiences start from our teenagehood. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to know, how do these teens really learn about love and relationships? Mostly because we know it's out of an interaction with their friends, with schools, and what impact does it have on them for learning maybe from their peers? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Wow, that's a good question. I'd like to say teenagers learn from a willing teacher. Yeah. So the willing teacher could be internet, very willing, could be their peers, could be their parents, could be social media. And these ones, especially these ones that are not, coming from teachers or parents or the caregivers of these teenagers, are always going to be there, and they will always have their influences on these teenagers. And so why I say a willing teacher is because then it means that for them to learn these relationships the healthy way, the way that Valentine has described, it means having very intentional caregivers. Let the parents be the ones to sit them down and teach them and talk to them and engage with them about their relationships. The danger with it not coming from these trusted ones who have gone through it, who are their guardians, who have their best interests at heart, is that they will pick up on the wrong things, because they will pick from social media whatever looks good and glamorous, and it can mess them up in the long run. Or they may learn from their friends, and their friends may have different value systems or different reasons for being in a relationship that may again mess this teenager up. So yeah, to answer the question, who teaches? A willing teacher. So we want to be part of that willing teacher group.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like now we understand the conversation when it comes to teenage relationships, and all of us remember. And if you take your time to just reflect, if now you're out of your teenagehood and you're now an adult, you can remember this is the time that you maybe fell in love first. Yeah, the love at first sight. People also having debates. Did we really? Is there love at first sight? Because me, I felt like I loved at first sight, for example. It's not that it happened to me, but yeah, that's the conversation. That is the time that people really began with relationships. Yeah, so it takes me to the question of the day. And I'll read the question of the day. What's one lesson you have learned or you learned from your first relationship that you'll never forget? I repeat again. What's one lesson you learned from your first relationship that you'll never forget? Please let us know through our social media platforms, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719 144 144. For now, let's take a short break and we'll be back with your feedback. Welcome back. This is still the Uni Breakfast Show, and I'll go straight to your feedback and sample some of them. Yeah. So the question was, what's one lesson you've learned from your first relationship that you'll never forget? Yeah. The first question, or the first viewer has said, I learned that loving someone doesn't mean losing yourself in the process. That's deep. Very deep. I'll sample another one. Just because someone gives you attention doesn't mean they have good intentions. Wow.
Oh,
Awesome. I know, right? I'll sample somebody else's view. Communication isn't just about talking, it's about listening too. Hitting home. I like this. Someone says being honest about what you want from the start saves a lot of heartache later. And I'll sample the last two. Not every relationship is meant to last, but everyone teaches you something. And the last one, I found out the hard way that jealousy isn't love, it's control. Awesome. I really, really love your feedback, guys. And I'm feeling like also I'm learning in the process when it comes to these comments. Yeah, it's awesome that we are getting to learn from you guys also, which is very important. So I'd like to take your comments, or maybe even if you have your experiences when it comes to your first love lessons, please feel free to share. Tuanze kwako Beulah.
Well, I think I just want to thank the viewers for what they have shared. It tells, I mean, in the very few words they have said, it tells quite a number of stories of experiences that they have had, perhaps the danger of getting into relationships before you fully know yourself. Or sometimes in staying in a situation that maybe you don't understand or you don't realize is bad for you or unhealthy or toxic, for lack of a better word, for you at that time. Yeah.
So it's great. At least we are getting to learn from each other.
Their insight is amazing. To see that they can reflect and pick that.
Yeah. Awesome. Valentine.
I think maybe mine would be to say that love, when somebody says they love you, it's not about them saying, but it's about them showing that they love you. And there is where we usually go wrong in teenagehood. We love hearing when people tell us that they love us, just the word, but not the action.
Yeah. Actually, that's deep because action speaks better than words. Yeah. We've been hearing people, somebody might say, I love you, but they don't mean it. But their actions really show completely different. And there are people who will not actually say, I love you, but the actions they show will really speak a lot about them because they're there for you. They want to be there for you. They're always listening. So at the end of the day, it's good to look at actions. Very deep, very deep. Thank you so much for your feedback, guys. And it's always awesome to actually hear from you. So I want us now to go to the red flags and the green flags. Growing up, and every time people speak about relationship, there's always the conversation on what is the red flag? What is the biggest green flag? What is this? These are the conversations. So Valentine, I'd like to know now, what are the biggest missed red flags by teenagers when it comes to relationships in the teenagehood?
Well, I think when I talked about people saying they love you and yet in their actions are proving otherwise. And then maybe the other thing that teenagers will look out for, remember it's a stage where most of them want to practice things such as having sexual relationship. So if you are in a relationship whereby that particular relationship is more sexualized, than you having communication with the other person, that is a place whereby you should feel like this is not something that is really meant to improve my life, but rather to maybe break my life if it focuses more on that. Then the other thing that if you are in that kind of a relationship whereby you're feeling unheard or even unseen, like the relationship is more of the other person other than the two of you, then that is when you begin to notice that actually this is not the kind of relationship whereby I want to be in. Then the other thing is about the transparency of that relationship. There are certain things that maybe the other person would hide. A simple thing would be like maybe knowing the family. remember, we are still in teenagehood. You need to know maybe the family and even the friends of this person whom you are in a relationship with, because when you're talking about teenage relationship, we are talking of emotional relationship, which in most cases it's more of romantic, because we are human beings, we evolve, we have emotions, and mostly we start practicing these things as early as that age of 13 or even 12, because this is the age whereby you feel like now you identify yourself, that you have emotions and you feel attracted towards the other person. So that aspect of maybe this person taking you to their place is also very, very important. So if maybe you are in a relationship with this person who is not comfortable taking you to maybe to their parents' home to know their parents, their sisters, their brothers, and even their other friends, that is when you will come to know that this relationship is not leading me anywhere. Yeah.
Awesome. And I hope you are really taking notes when it comes to this conversation. And that now, if we are teenagers, we know what are the red flags we look at when we are in relationships, yeah? So that you can also see this is what really is all about, yeah, when it comes to teenage relationships, yeah? In most of the cases, for most adults, the teenage relationships really don't last, yeah, because I don't know, it's because it's the first experiences, and if it doesn't last, it means there's heartache, there's the breakup part where it's their first time experiencing the heartbreak, it's their first time like trying to understand what is this. We are first kwanza trying to understand we are in love with somebody, and then now there's that heartbreak point. Now how am I supposed to deal with it? It's my first time. Should I be depressed? Should I be anxious? Like there's always a lot of feelings that come with it that actually are very new feelings for the teenagers. So my question, Beulah, is how do teenagers really deal with heartbreaks or breakups for the first time? It can be how they do, or how should they be able to deal with heartbreaks?
Okay. I think from a lot we see, even as we have conversation with the teenagers when we're going to high schools, just to have these conversations on mental health, you'll notice a lot of isolation. You don't know what to do with that pain, so you just isolate and sit with it. Some of them will try and deal with it by eating more. Some of them can easily be lured into drugs just to try and numb that pain. Some of them can get into other relationships, again, because it's what you see in the movies, in the social media. It's you get another one to get over the other one, and then it just becomes a messy chain. So some of them can go that route. Others choose to vent to their friends or whoever can listen and just talk about it as much as they can. Some people, I guess, also have those long breakups because you're always going back to shout at each other to find out for real umeniacha, or so for some it can be quite prolonged. How should they deal with it? It's very important to find healthy expression for that pain, for all those feelings, all those emotions that are coming with that. So venting to trusted friends, and friends who will not lead you to those, unhealthy ways to numb that pain, say drugs, for example, or encourage you to date immediately as a way of getting over that, but who can just listen and hold that space for you and not talk about it to other people. So having that safe space where they can vent, having safe adults that they can talk to, because remember, an adult has probably been through that and therefore they know what to do. They can give you some guidance or some good advice. So be it that cool teacher, every school has that Kawan teacher that every student can talk to, or your mom or your dad or that auntie, just an adult who you trust, who you feel safe around, who can offer good guidance is a good idea. And throwing yourself into things that you enjoy, things that you are good at, things that are good for you. So joining clubs in schools, unaingia sports, unajaribu arts, unajaribu drama. In fact, drama is a very good place to go and express. You go be the most angry person, or the one who cries, the one who shouts, or music fests. Just get yourself into things. Get yourself still socializing with your friends so that you're not isolated, so that pain of the heartbreak does not evolve into now what you're talking about, equal depression, equal anxiety, equal more complicated than the grief of a relationship that is broken.
We all know that breakups are really painful, but if you are able to actually take the advice that Beulah has given, you'll be able to learn how to deal with them, and it will be a very good way of expression. And again, we learn from experiences. So all of us, in one way or another, have gone through some experiences. So feel free to actually go talk to somebody who's big, as Beulah has said, who is more experienced than you, and they'll be able to help you out through that moment. There's nothing new under the sun, so these people have already seen it all. So the best thing is don't stay alone with the pain and not try to numb it, but only also just go try and have healthier way of coping. Yeah, I want us to take a short break and we'll be back with more. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show with me, Peninah, Wachera, and my lovely therapist over here. And we are here to just talk about teen relationships. Yeah, we've been there. Some of you are still there, and we are just here to actually share our experiences and be able to advise our smaller sisters, our smaller brothers when it comes to teenage relationships, and let them know also that there's nothing new under the sun, and that they can be able to feel safe to actually communicate issues that they are going through when it comes to their teenage relationships. Yeah, so feel free. We are in an open space where you can be able to learn and also be able to actually get information if you're a parent on how you can be able to handle your children. Yeah, so remember, this show is proudly brought to you by Miss Your Ashan and Younib organization, and we're trying to reach out to the community to teach you on matters mental health. So if you have any issues with your mental health, you can always call the number 0700 352 250, and our very own psychologist will be able to help you out here. So coming back to the conversation, Valentine, we have been telling before the break, we have informed people and told them, okay, so feel free to talk to people, feel free to actually go open up to somebody who is experienced than you, that is somebody who is older than you. Yeah, but now the issue comes in when somebody thinks, okay, so yes, I'm opening up, and for them, they might be feeling that I will be judged. They have the fear of judgment. So my question is, how can teens really learn to communicate feelings without fear of judgment or rejection?
Okay, thank you for that question. I believe what teenagers need to understand is that their parents and those people who are elderly were once in their place, And maybe looking at our African context,
Yeah.
let's say the Kenyan context, you find that maybe our parents were not in a position to express about their emotions, maybe to their parents when they were young. But since the time has evolved, we are living in a world whereby we encourage open communication. So once you understand that we are not living in that generation whereby it was strict. Even having a boyfriend or a girlfriend was something that is unheard of. So I would like to encourage that teenager to know that the world has evolved, and in this case, what that person needs to do is just have the courage to be bold enough to talk to a person who is mature. Then also another thing, when you are communicating, look at the mood around. You can't go and tell your mom or your dad. Maybe when you are having an argument, that is when you want to bring that conversation of, I have this person and maybe we are having issues and such things. You look at the kind of environment that you have. Maybe during that time when your parents have taken you for an outing, or sometimes the parents ask. There are those parents who ask their teenagers, do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? There are those who are very open when it comes to such interactions with their kids. So as a parent, you need to be somebody who listens to your child so that your child can have that courage. Remember, your child will not have that courage if you're this kind of a parent who keeps on pestering them, who keeps on raising your voices at them. So as a parent, you also need to educate yourself on how you can handle your teenager, because teenagehood is a period whereby it comes with a lot of emotions. I believe this our viewers will also get to know when they watch the show of the teenage crisis. This is a stage whereby when most teenagers are being rebellious, this is the stage where their moods are all over. They are trying to identify who they really are. Their peers really matter. So if that teenager is courageous and comes to talk to you about the issues that they are going through, maybe in their relationship with a person whom they feel attracted to, you as a parent should be able to actively listen, educate yourself more if you don't have that information, and be able to encourage your teenager. So this teenager needs to be very courageous. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the values that the teenager should have is courage, yeah? And also as a parent, it's really, really important. If somebody comes to you, your child comes to you and is really open enough to you, it's good also not to judge them. Because you see, in the African society or in our African setup, we are used to, once you say something about love and relationships in your teenage years, you will see, you'll get whooping, yeah? That's why it is so difficult actually for the teenagers to actually speak to their parents. But I'm hoping we will be able to actually have that safe environment where your child can be able to openly talk to you, because at the end of the day, maybe your child has gone through a lot of abuse in between their teenagehood, and it affects them in the future. So it's important to actually allow them to speak up, create that environment for them to speak up, yeah, and tell you about the issues, and don't judge them. Kwanza judgment for us African parents, it's important for us to make sure that changes so that we can make a good environment for our children, a safe environment where our children can say, this I can talk to my parents about this I can also actually go to my mom and say without fear of judgment, because it's the parents who should actually bring that safe environment, and it will also show the teenagers, okay, I can always share with my mom. They have no problem. Yeah. So thank you so much for that, Valentine. Beulah, I want us now to go to a point. Again, you had mentioned that most information is in social media. So sometimes we might not be teaching our teenagers about sex, about how to maneuver when it comes to relationship, how to give consent, yeah, how to deal with emotional readiness when it comes to relationships, yeah. I'd like to know now, how do the teenagers really prepare themselves for this, and what can parents, what can our teachers, our mentors be able to do this to our teenagers to ensure that now they learn more about the sex, they know about consent, and also be emotionally ready for the relationship stage when it comes to their teenage world.
Right. I think that reminds me of this methali that
Proverb.
yes, this proverb. Asiyefunzwa na mamake hufunzwa na ulimwengu.
Yeah.
And so the more we as parents, or we as the primary caregivers, we as the sober adults in this teenager's life, shy away from such topics such as matters love, relationships, sex. There are very bold people everywhere on the internet who might preach to them the wrong gospel, who might teach them what probably you would not want them to learn. And so we're in such an age where information is everywhere and it's about everything. There's nothing that they cannot get online. And this is the online generation. Every teenager, no matter where they are, has some degree of access to the internet.
Yeah.
And so they can learn these things from there. And so that means then that the bulk of the responsibilities with these parents, with these safe adults, with these primary caregivers, with you as an auntie or as an uncle, as a trusted adult to this teenager, to begin to have these conversations with them. You want to know what is it that they know about love, about relationships, about sex. What is it that their peers are saying? What is it that they are finding is being said online? Where are they at with that? And then you begin to also teach them values, and this ones you don't start teaching someone values when they're already 15. This is something you have done. It's work that you begin when they're a child, to begin to have these conversations, to begin to have values, so that, as Valentine has said, if someone comes and tells them I love you, it's like, my parents love me too. So what is that to your love? What is this that you want? To be able to understand what are the boundaries that lie within their bodies. Do they understand what it means to be sexually intimate with someone? What it takes away from them? What it gives them? What it requires of them? Do they understand the emotions that it takes to be romantically involved with someone? That you also just can't nyamazia someone. You have to actually problem solve. So is that something that they are ready for, or can you have these conversations with them where they can learn to have or to form strong friendships? And to build the foundation that way, so that as they grow older, as they continue to mature, then they're able to make the right decisions, even downright to what kind of a partner do you choose. I don't know if any of you, your parents, had that conversation with you for how do you pick a boyfriend, how do you pick a girlfriend, what are you looking for? It's important to now have these conversations because it's happening. I think when we are looked at, we look like we're not that far. Like teenage yetu si mbali sana hivo. But the changes that were there in our times and the things that are happening now, it's huge. So we can't afford to be silent and to hope that, if I don't say it, they won't hear about it. No, they will. So you might as well be the first one to teach them about it.
Awesome. I like the way we've had this conversation. To some of us, we are offering advice. As parents, you're getting to understand our today's generation. It's not the same as when you were being brought up here. So there's a lot of changes around. There's a lot going on. Internet is here. And it's here to stay, actually, and it's more vast now, and it's very fast spreading. So as much as we decide or we think that we might ignore some things, our children will always get to learn so much more. Even though you don't communicate, they will rush there and just learn from them. So the only thing we can do is just be the safe space, be ready to have these uncomfortable conversations, because they are very uncomfortable, but we should be the people to start it, because once you teach your children the right values, I think they will never actually, they won't go out of those values, and which is an important thing we should take from this conversation. So thank you so much for coming, for helping us be able to dissect this conversation. And thank you for also offering a way that we can remember back in our days, where we can reflect and also see matters about our own relationships. And take this time, if you're older, and ask yourself, how did I handle my teenage relationships, and what did it do to me specifically when it comes to my now life or my now relationship, the way I handle it? Because it might be the reason why you are not even dating right now. you know, because you've not healed from the previous relationship, your first love, you're still there. You're still like, I won't give my heart again because I will be heartbroken, yeah? But it's part of life anyway. So thank you so much for coming to give us this awesome conversation. Asanteni sana.
Thank you.
It's always an honor actually having you here. Sitachoka kusema hivyo because it's true. We're always happy having you in studio. Thank you so much. And to everyone who's made this show a success, thank you so much, Elias, for being our timekeeper, our camera person, and also our director. Asante sana for the good work you've been doing. And to you, our viewers, I hope this show gives you a way of reflection to help you be able to see where you went wrong and where you can be able to improve. As a parent, will help you be able to see how you can help your own children. And until next time, guys, do have yourselves a beautiful day. But all I ask for you today is be reflective. Let's look back at our life in relationships. Sawa sawa. Until next time, do have yourselves a beautiful day ahead. Goodbye.